On today, Super Gangsters, we're back again with another video, man. And today, you already know we're back again with the early 2000s smoke because I've seen so many comments asking me to make some early 2000 tutorials yet again. So today, I need to provide, right? So without wasting any further time, today I'm gonna be breaking down one of my most favorite melodies I've ever made in early 2000 style. So I'm sure, bro, like I don't want to hear any excuse, bro. I'm sure that y'all gonna learn something out of it. So without wasting any further time, yet again, let's get into it. Yeah, all right, first of all, starting from the tempo of the melody, as you can see here, I've set it to 95 BPM. This is a very solid tempo for making early 2000 melodies. You can literally start from 89 BPM all the way up to 105, but honestly, I wouldn't go any past that, otherwise the beat will start to feel too fast, and that is not very typical on the early 2000 type beats. But anyways, for this melody, we're sitting at 95 BPM. Now, the very first element I use is this acoustic guitar from Ample Guitar Martin with the default preset, and sounds so fire. First of all, as you can see from the scale of the piano, we are sitting on D sharp minor, and basically these are very simple chord progressions. It will have literally been like this, and then we got this other one here, and then this other one here. But then, as you can see here, the attack of the notes have been shifted. The first one, of course, is sitting at the beginning of the bar, and then we got the second one that is sitting on the second quarter of the beat, and then finally we got this other one here, and literally the same thing goes for the chord over here. But then on the third chord, we got this other different kind of attack of the notes. As you can see here, we got this note, and then we have these other two that have been slightly shifted. And anyways, this is the way the chord progression sounds. Very simple. Now, on the second pattern that we have on the melody, I still use the Ample Guitar Martin, but in this case I use this preset right here, and I've actually used that guitar to make these notes over here, which are there to kind of fill up the melody and to give a little bit of support. And this is the way they sound. Sounds so fire. And as you can see here, I put this pattern on the fourth bar, so literally by the end, just to give of course, a little bit of variation. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is these notes right here, the ones that are very next to each other, like this couple right here. So basically the reason why I have this pair of notes is because it gives me a little bit of human effect. That had it been the case where I only had one note, for example, like the note that I actually wanted to play was this one, okay? So let's say that I only had this one here. As you can see, it sounds too robotic, bro. Like, it doesn't sound like a real guitar, you feel me? So that's the reason why every now and then I like to put those notes. It really depends though, like you don't want to go too crazy with it, otherwise you'll just mess around the melody. But otherwise, if you want to be a little more creative and give a little bit of extra flavor, I really suggest you doing this shit because it's so fire. Now, at this point, it was time to put some sort of a counter melody to the melody, and I used this jazz guitar from Xenology. Sounds clean, man. You see, very simple melody, but super catchy. Like, for real, this melody is catchy as hell. And once again, as you can see here, the notes that we have on the first 4 bars are the same exact ones that we have on the next 4 bars. So I didn't do any variation in terms of that. But yeah, man, I really do love these notes. They sound perfect for this melody. And yet again, as you can see here, I still have the double shot of notes that I told you before, just to give that human feeling to the melody, because I promise you that's one of the best tricks that you can use whenever making these type of melodies, because you need to understand that back then, I think that we're actually using real instruments to make the melodies. So if you want to recreate that kind of feeling, this is one of the best tricks that you can apply. Now, at this point, as you can see here, even looking at the playlist, you can literally see that we have the structure of the melody. Now, it was literally all about filling up the melody with the right sounds. So sound selection is very important when making early 2000 melodies. So the first element I use is this clavinet, which I often use whenever I want to fill up the space of a melody, of an early 2000 melody, which is called twat clavinet. Sounds hard, man. Very simple. Yeah, there's literally nothing too crazy to say about this one here. Yeah, I also think I did record these shots literally on the piano roll like this. Yeah, something like that. And I think I kept it right there because I didn't put it, as you can see here, it is not actually matching the grid of the piano. Even if we were to put it on 1/3 step, it is still not matching. So I think I literally recorded it and I left it right there because I felt like it sounded good. And on top of that, it sounded real. So that's the vibe that you wanna get to. You feel me? And yeah, as you can see, we got the same exact thing for every bar, and of course we got space over here. So it had literally been placed on the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th, and the 8th bar. And see how much difference it makes to the melody. You feel me? Makes a lot of sense, bro. You feel me? Now, next element of the melody, of course, man. Whenever making early 2000 melodies, this cannot miss the staccato strings. You feel me? So I use the staccato strings from Xenology, the ensemble string staccato. Now, you might be feeling a little bit intimidated looking at the piano roll, but it's a very simple piano roll. Basically, just to break it down quickly, we got 2 shots of these chords. Very simple. Then we got these other ones, which are literally the same as these ones, I won't lie. And then we got the stuff here on the 4th bar, at the end of the 4th bar. It will all make sense when I actually play it. You feel me? Very simple. And yeah, yet again, we got the same exact thing for the first 3 bars of the second 4 bars of the melody. But then on the 8th bar, we have a little bit of variation. Because this was the 8th bar, so I needed to kind of close the cycle of the melody. So I needed to kind of make the downward vibe of the melody, right? Now, after placing the staccato strings, I wanted to use another set of strings, but this time I wanted to use like longer strings, like strings that have some sort of a sustained kind of effect. And they really do match very well with these last strings that I just broke down for you. Yeah. You see it? Yeah, man, this is sauce, bruh. This is sauce that no one out there is gonna tell you. So, hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel, you feel me? Because I provide smoke. Anyways, for these strings, I use the lush strings from Xenology. Bro, you already know Xenology. Go there when it comes to early 2000 melodies. And as you can tell by yourself, it's a very simple structure of the notes. Right in the background. And basically, when you combine the staccato strings with these strings right here, you give so much emotion to the melody, which sounds insane. Like you're gonna start crying type. Now, another element that definitely cannot miss on these melodies, oftentimes, of course, it depends on the vibe of the melody, but it's an electric bass. And in this case, I use the modern bass from Ilya Efimov. All I did here was to try using notes that could keep the same vibe of the melody, but at the same time not necessarily following any specific pattern of the melody, if that makes sense to you. Very simple, man. Very simple. And also, if you notice, these notes here have a little bit of attack. So I've shortened the length. Instead of being here, I kind of did like this so that I could have a little more attack on the next note. Now, the final element I added to the melody is this effect here, which I always say, bro, it's not the first time. If you've been watching my early 2000 videos, it's not the first time that I'm saying this, but it sounds just so fire. It makes your melody go crazy, bro. I won't lie to you. You feel me? It kind of gives that magical effect to the melody. I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like, it just sounds perfect, bro. Now, if you want to get this sound right here, check the link down below in the description for Tycoon, which is the drum kit that I released for exclusively early 2000 R&B 50 cent type beats. You're literally gonna make the best beats in the game with that drum kit, so I really suggest you checking it out. Now let's get into the arrangement, because that's the part that I feel like kind of breaks the rhythm of the melody a little bit. So after the first 8 bars, as you can see here, I took away the half of this piano roll right here, as you can see here, and by doing that you can really tell that there's a little bit of variation between the 2 parts of the melody, the first 8 bars and the second 8 bars. You see how very quiet it is. And then again, there we go. I feel like it gives a nice variation, like a balanced variation to the melody, and I think it sounds fire. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that whenever you're making a melody, a cool trick that you can apply is to use a perk loop underneath the melody sounds that you're using, because it kind of gives you a little bit of guideline whenever choosing, you know, the bounce of the melody and everything. Like if you put the perk loop underneath the melody, it really helps you. Now, the reason why I use the perk loop is because it kind of lets me envision the beat that I'm ultimately gonna do with this melody right here. But of course, like, this is not the beat, you feel me? Now, the very last thing that I want to show you is the mixer track. And as you can see here, the first one that we got over here is actually the bass. Now, all I did here was to completely push it to the mono. I was secured a little bit because there were some frequencies that I didn't really appreciate, so I took them out. And last thing that you can see is the EQ on the ample guitar, the very first one. And then the only other EQ I did was on the second ample guitar, this one right here. But yeah, man, that's all, bro. My brother, thank you so much for watching today's video. I genuinely hope you've learned something out of it. Now, if you still struggle to make these melodies right here, or if you still struggle to make drums, even getting placements, making money as a producer, networking with artists, managers, anything of that kind of nature, check the first link down below in the description, where you're gonna be able to get a completely free call with me. And from there, we're gonna see if I can actually help you out in achieving your goals as a producer, leveling up the production of your beats, or even learning how to make money as a producer, learning how to get placements or anything of that kind of nature, bro. I got you. You feel me? Anyways, bro, thanks a lot for watching today's video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Stepuz. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure to leave a like always. And yeah, man, it was a fun video to make. I'm gonna see you on the next time. Bye.